Firing. He's going for Landry down by the end zone. A tumbling catch for a touchdown. He's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown.
Welcome back, Survivors. Episode 19, Season 4. Surviving the Season, live from the Baywater Studios in Tampa, Florida. I'm Adam. Greg's here.
Yo, what is up?
What is up? Headed into preseason week 3, a game in Tampa on Friday. We're going to look at the roster here a little bit, some of the remaining battles that are interesting. I guess let's start on is that where you want to start?
You want to get the news out of the way?
Yeah.
I guess since we're going to go through because now we just found wide receiver 1.
Yeah. Breaking news.
We need like a sound thing. Yeah, what do they call those?
Awesome. Braxton Miller of OSU fame has been signed by the Browns, and I can't find the cut. So somebody got cut with a non-football illness.
What's that mean?
Oh, it was McQuan Dean, the tight end.
Yes.
Tight end number 7 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be missing much there.
Yep, sorry about that.
Good luck to him.
Braxton Miller in. Any thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's a little... I knew that Twitter would definitely love this one. You bringing in the OSU product. I mean, Braxton Miller is a slot guy. Our team's loaded with slot guys. I think right now what this is you have a couple injuries. I don't know if he is back to practice, but he got injured in that last game. I don't know if he's been practicing. I didn't see what was going on today, but Ishmael Hyman, he was out with a concussion. You have Callaway down with a hamstring. There at this point, it almost seems like the Browns don't really want to play any of the starters. Maybe if they do, maybe a quarter at most in this game. Freddie says he hasn't decided yet, but it sounds like they really want to try to rest the starters. So you need somebody to take snaps. Next thing you know, we have an Anthony Zettel situation again, and we're playing Higgins into the fourth quarter or something when we're going to use him during the season. We don't want to use up his snaps here. We don't want to risk injury. So bring in a body that, a guy who has some upside with Braxton Miller. We know quarterback at Ohio State, had 1 year of being a wide receiver. They knew he was going to be a guy that was, that wasn't going to be ready day one. And you're going to hope that you could teach him to be a wide receiver. Didn't work out at the Texans, went to Philadelphia, didn't work out there. Now he's here, and we sort of had a long line. We've had a line here of guys coming in that, might be getting that second chance at, the career. Last year, Perryman. This year, so far, Strong, and maybe, you can do it one more time here with Miller. But we're, 2 weeks away from cut down? 12 days? Something, not many days away from cut down. He doesn't have very much time. I'm not expecting Braxton Miller to make this team, but I do think it's a way to bring him in and see what you got with this guy, evaluate a guy, and get some snaps out of him.
Yeah, that seems probably what the idea is here with Landry, Beckham probably not going to play. Higgins, they'd probably like to sit.
Do we need to see Higgins anymore?
No, he can sit. Yeah, it's going to be, it's sort of like we need a guy to come in and play. Maybe he can field some punts. With Callaway starting the season on the suspended list, that opens up a spot. Kareem Hunt also is suspended for the first 8 weeks. So there's a couple open roster spots of dudes that we know we're going to keep. You could fill in there. Maybe Miller could return punts if they haven't liked what else they've had.
Sure. I wish I could find out here if Sheehy was back today, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, even if he could return punts, he's still like a pretty long shot to make the roster.
Oh, I would say it's slim to none to make this roster. This is, you don't add a guy this late and then, where are you going to put him? I think I have a pretty strong idea what the Browns are looking at here at wide receiver, and I'm not sure where Braxton Miller would fit into that.
Well, interesting news anyway. Sort of a fan favorite had a nice run at OSU. So a lot of Twitter love for the move, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when he gets cut. No, good luck to him, though. I mean, I hope either way, if he's not playing here, he might have a chance, plays well in these last two, to get another shot going somewhere else.
Yeah. Any other news that we need to cover?
Do you want to cover the Baker Mayfield GQ story that blew up yesterday and took over Twitter?
Yeah. What did Mayfield say? Something about the kid in New York, what's his name?
Daniel Jones.
Said he was surprised that the Giants took him. Seems like an off-the-cuff comment that during an interview where they're just eating and Mayfield seemed surprised. The interview was way back in May. Mayfield says he didn't mean anything by it. It was taken out of context. And, of course, since you don't have the full story around what else was said, people jumped on board.
When Daniel Jones was selected by the Giants, what did you say?
That was a stupid pick. Everyone said
everybody
Giants
said
fans were booing the choice in the stadium. The ones that attended the draft show or their draft party, like they were booing.
Yeah, anybody that watches football, plays football. I mean, anybody that has any interest in the NFL went, what? I can't believe they took Daniel Jones. Everybody said that. So it's not like this is a shocking thing that Baker would think the same. Now Baker had an interview. He was, saying I didn't mean it in that way. And he felt bad because, he didn't want, it's not like he was trying to talk bad about Daniel Jones. I'm sure it had a little bit to do with the fact that they pass up on Sam Darnold last year for a running back, even though Baker and Saquon are friends. And Saquon, rookie of the year, but still, you passed up a franchise quarterback, and then you come back and take a guy this year who there's not many out there that had him, Daniel Jones, high. Now, this year I did the 1-game watch of quarterbacks, so I didn't go through and watch quarterbacks, so I can't even give you a proper evaluation of Daniel Jones. I wish him luck. We didn't need a quarterback. I'm not going to waste my time watching quarterbacks when we don't need them. He's had a very good preseason so far. But I find it interesting that out of that whole article, which, by the way, really was not, we got no information that we didn't already know. I felt like it's a regurgitation in every single one of these articles when it comes to Baker Mayfield. And then you take one quote, one sentence basically out of, 5,000 words that are written. And then somehow that's the thing that everybody talks about. This one clickbaity topic that gets put on Twitter, and then everybody's talking about it. How many people even read the article?
Right, yeah. Well,
you read the headline.
That's the shit that gets clicked.
The article had nothing to do with Daniel Jones.
Right. It's sort of the way even it was written was Mayfield noticed, ESPN's on the TV. There was something on the ticker about Daniel Jones, and Mayfield made a comment at that point. Like, yeah, it's on the record, but it wasn't like they weren't talking about it. They weren't asking him questions about it. It was sort of just off the cuff, like conversational.
Yeah, and then somehow they kept sort of talking about it, and it got into QB wins, which we don't need to go into that. I mean, we've talked about that here plenty, and QB wins don't matter. But I'm not sure if that's exactly what Baker was talking about either. But right. It's silly that this is the part that anybody really cares about, because literally everybody was saying, I can't believe Daniel Jones got drafted.
Yeah, and
there was nobody in the football world that wasn't saying that.
Right. Yeah.
Not drafted, but drafted by the Giants where he did.
Yeah. And of course, it's sort of the usual suspects that pick it up. Barstool ran something. Coward ran something. Michael Rappaport had a fucking video about it because he knows he's going to get attention. He knows he's going to get some clicks. That's why he puts it out there. That's their time to shine, is when something like this happens, and then Rappaport can do his little thing where, I'm a washed up actor, everyone still pay attention to me because I'm so into New York sports or whatever. I mean, at the end, if the Giants they're drafting a quarterback, they liked a quarterback. If they couldn't get out of that spot, you take the fucking quarterback. It's the right pick, probably. If you can't trade back and you have to take the quarterback you want. If that's who they wanted, that's who they wanted, fine. But I'm just assuming that they couldn't get out of the spot. They couldn't drop 10 or 15 spots and still take the guy. He's a quarterback, so he's going to get overdrafted. That's just the way the league is.
Yes, but you didn't take a quarterback the year before.
The Giants have been a mess of personnel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but in this particular case, hopefully the kid works out for them, unless we're playing them in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go read it. I guess it's not, like I said, it's not very interesting. I didn't come away knowing more about Baker Mayfield than I already knew.
Yeah.
He believes in himself. That's what we found out. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, they're all kind of the same.
But it does. I mean, that's the way these articles are, man, and that's why people are like, "Oh, this is why you don't talk to the media." But Baker really shouldn't even have to defend himself here. It's a throwaway comment.
Yeah, agreed. So speaking of quarterbacks and the 53-man roster, I know you went back and looked at the game. What are you doing with this quarterback room with this 53-man?
Cutting Drew Stanton, making him a coach. No, I mean, we've talked about this. I'm going to go ahead and start Baker Mayfield, I think, to start off the season. I'm going to say he's my quarterback one. And then after that, when we're going to do our full roster next week. And if I can get Garrett Gilbert onto this roster, I'm going to find a way to do it because I know you don't want to get 3 quarterbacks, but I think there is some value in this guy. I think he's good enough to play in this league. Going back and watching the game again, I mean, he's improving. He's improving every single time that he's been out there. He's getting more comfortable, and he's clearly better than Drew Stanton. So if I have room on this roster, I'm going to find a way to get him on there. Then David Blau, he can go to the practice squad if we need to do that.
Right.
If we got to keep Drew Stanton, because Freddie said, how valuable it was. He talked about it the next day after we had recorded last, how important it is to have Drew Stanton in that quarterback room. Okay, great. But there is some value here to Garrett Gilbert. He can play. So I don't think we're in a position just to throw away a guy who can play, even if you go and trade him for, like what we said, a 7th round pick or whatever it is. There is some value to this guy. So if I can find a way, I'm going to get him on this roster.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you there. As we sort of turn the screws on the 53-man roster, we can probably see if we can keep him. We'll probably have to do that next week. But for now, I'll agree with you that those 3 quarterbacks can be on the roster if we have the space, or we don't have to get rid of somebody else that I would rather keep. We'll get into it a little bit deeper. Let's go to the running backs. Chubb, Hilliard, probably going to make the day one. Ernest Johnson played well enough to probably make the day one at this point. If Hilliard's banged up a little.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. Now, I love what Freddie's doing right now. Like we talked about after the game, spreading out the field and really creating some open running lanes for these guys. But Ernest Johnson took advantage of the lanes that were there. He did a good job at that. They haven't made a move yet for a veteran running back, so it seems that they're going to be going this way. He caught he have three catches for 27 yards, something like that. So he seemed to catch the ball okay. If he's your running back 3 to start off the season, that's fine. I don't think there's anybody else that's really playing it for that position right now. I think AJ Ouellette and Trayon Gray are going to be out.
Yeah.
So I think to start the season, we're going to go Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Dontrell Hilliard, Ernest Johnson, most likely.
Right, with Hunt not counting towards the 53. So
exactly. So there could be a chance where they don't have a 3rd running back on the roster, where they just go with 2 for and Ernest Johnson is like an inactive on game days, or maybe even they try to get him to the practice squad.
Yeah.
Do we always run with 3? Jack Duffin did a nice little thing, and I can't find it, where he put up like the averages of the roster spots, like the NFL average.
Uh-huh.
And I would like to see I bet you it's at least 3 running backs. I couldn't find it on his page though.
Yeah, I mean, you almost got to keep 3.
Do you? Did we keep 3 all last year?
Yeah, probably.
I guess we did. I guess we had Dontrell Hilliard at the end, but he was contributing on special teams. Is Ernest Johnson giving us special team snaps?
He returned a bunch of punts and
Yeah, true. Okay, well, there you go. That will get third running back has to be a special teams contributor.
Yeah, fullback.
Hilliard's back to practice too, I believe.
Okay, good. Thank you. Fullback Joe Carriage.
Got a concussion today.
All right. Shit. So
We've had some bad luck with fullbacks.
Yeah. I mean, I know the Browns want to keep one. They used Orson Charles in that role, while he was sort of listed as a tight end fullback, but I don't know.
Yeah, Freddie did not confirm that he would for sure be keeping a fullback.
Okay, so again, once we tighten the screws on the numbers, he's obviously going to be a bubble guy.
And you could use Seth DeVell. Now, Seth DeVell gave you a little bit in that role last year at the end of the year, and he is also back at practice.
Oh, good. He needs to definitely be in the lineup here.
Oh, yeah, but
some stuff.
Who the hell's going to beat him out at this point?
Well, I don't know. Let's talk about tight ends. Njoku, Demetrius Harris, Seth DeVal, Pharaoh Brown, Steven Carlson, Rico Gathers.
So we know David Njoku for sure. Demetrius Harris is for sure. I'm thinking Seth DeVal, unless he gets hurt again, is on this roster. I just don't see, Rico Gathers. He just got here. Maybe he's been showing out at practice. Pharaoh Brown, I haven't seen anything that would make me want to keep him on my roster. And Steven Carlson, same thing, just another guy.
Yeah,
I think you're good with 1, 2, 3 Njoku, Harris, and DeValve here.
I'm pretty comfortable with that. DeValve will be in his last year of his contract, so it's probably not a dude that they're signing going forward anyway. So I don't know if that'll make a difference as a third tight end, if they would rather keep a younger guy that they have a little bit more control of. I don't know. I mean, DeValve shouldn't make a difference because it's not like he's played so well that he's going to get this huge contract next year. You know what I mean? He's probably coming back as a minimum guy, but he does have 4 years cranked out. So
he gives you a little bit of that flexibility that you're not going to get from these other guys, though, where
Agreed.
You can put him in at the fullback. You can really run him as a slot guy also.
Yeah.
He is more of a pass catcher than a inline blocker. And in year 2, he actually did it halfway decent. And last year it was really the injuries that set him back. And then this year so far it's been injuries. But when he's healthy, he was halfway decent. So I know the guy can play, just a matter of being available to play.
Yeah. Oh, definitely 100%. All his problems has been health. So yeah, we'll see what happens there.
If he gets hurt, I swear to God, he's done. Then Pharaoh Brown's in, or Rico.
Yeah, probably the most interesting group here to separate the wide receivers. Yes. Landry Beckham Higgins, put him in. Callaway's suspended. We don't have to worry about him for 4 games. Give me your final 3 or what you saw maybe this past game that changed your mind.
All right, well, I think Willie's is in because special teams, he's been playing a lot of special team snaps. I think Strong is in, okay? I think this is really between Ratley and Montgomery here. Ratley he's coming back off the injury this week. And I think it's because they want an X. So you have Beckham, who is your X, Callaway, who's his backup to Beckham, and Willie's is not really. So you want a guy that can separate, who can get open on his own, right? The Z is your guy who will be playing off the Y, will be playing off the tight end, and he's not doesn't have to be that down the field stretch, vertical stretch guy, that sort of thing. So when I'm looking at this, Montgomery played pretty well, but I think these next 2 weeks it's going to come down to Ratley or Montgomery, and if it's a tie, even though Ratley's been injured, the tie probably goes to Ratley because he was drafted.
Yeah. But he is drafted pretty late.
Yeah, but DJ Montgomery, you can probably get to your practice squad.
Okay. Yeah,
okay,
I'd like to see DJ Montgomery on this team somehow.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to see DJ Montgomery on this team somehow. He seemed to earn it lately.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 drops, though. I mean, what's he got? 5 catches and 2 drops, or 6 catches and 2 drops in 2 games. So let me bring that up just to make sure.
I mean, even in practice, it seems like he's catching videos, people are putting.
Yeah, I mean, he's been giving right. You want to take advantage of your opportunities, and he's done that, and he's done a nice job. But sometimes we just forget about guys because we don't see them. So we don't see Ratley, and we just assume, well, Ratley's out of this thing. But day one, when I was there, Ratley got hurt day one. He was having a strong practice up to the point where he got hurt halfway through the practice. And then from everything, we know what he was last year. We know that he has the physical ability, and he's just raw. And if that seemed to be a pet project there of the Browns to get this guy up to speed. I don't think you just throw him away if they're on equal terms. Now, Montgomery might very well just straight up beat him out. We'll see. That's why we're having this discussion right now, because there's 2 games left. One of these 2, in my opinion, is who it's going to come down to.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And
so Pro Football Focus only credited him for 1 drop. I could have swore he dropped one in week 1 and week 2. 5 catches and the 1 drop.
And then they're going to be on the bubble again when Callaway comes back for week 5.
Yeah, and then things really change. Yeah.
So there's a little bit where you're assuming you can probably get both of them to the practice squad after cut down day. And then definitely in week 4, teams are a little bit more comfortable with their rosters for the most part. It's definitely easier to stash a dude on to the practice squad.
Is Ratley even practice squad eligible?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Supposing no injuries. That's the other thing, too, is as the injuries start to pile up around the league, some of these guys become a little bit more valuable.
Yeah. And I mean, you got 4 games here for these guys to separate themselves. Who knows? Willie's could be the guy out if once Callaway comes back. You don't know. Or Strong. I mean, I don't think Strong is a sure thing here, but I think just the way that it's fitting right now, he seems to be the backup for Landry, Higgins at the slot. And then if Higgins goes down, you still have a Landry to run the slot. I mean, as slot right now, we could run Beckham, Higgins, or Landry. Like, it doesn't matter. They're interchangeable. Yeah. That's why when you bring in Braxton Miller here, he's a slot guy. Where are you fitting him in? Right now, we need that X. He's not going to play X for you. So that's why, again, with Braxton Miller, why it looks like they're just bringing him in to get some snaps.
Mm-hmm.
So that would put Ish Hyman. He's most likely, and he's got a concussion at the worst possible time. God, it sucks for him. Sheehy, Giuseppe gone most likely.
Dorian Baker, any interest there?
No, I mean, he's a big body, but I just don't see that happening. He hasn't done enough.
Okay. Anything else on wide receivers?
Nope. But that's one of the most interesting battles, definitely going into these last 2 weeks of the preseason. So keep your eye on that. A lot on the line for those 2 guys that we talked about.
Another interesting battle is sort of the right guard spot. The offensive line obviously looks like Robinson, Batonio, Treader, X, and then Hubbard is going to be your starters. I would say Cush has probably nailed down that job. I did make a mistake in our last podcast. Batonio and Treader played like 5 or 6 snaps. They started that game. I fucked that up.
That's fine. We'll let this one slide.
Yeah.
I think at this point you can just pencil Eric Cush in unless the shit hits the fan for Eric Cush. Probably week 1, he's probably going to be your guy. What I'm more interested in is that backup position. And people, I mean, we've talked about how ridiculous it is to talk about backup quarterback,
Right.
but here, you're not going to have 5 guys. You really have to have some good backups in the NFL. I mean, there's no way around it. Guys are going to get hurt. I think we have some good choices, but it really, Drew Forbes as a backup guard really seems to be picking up. What was he, 5th round this year? 6th round?
Forbes, yeah.
Yeah. So
6th.
Drafted guy. I don't see any reason why you would keep Brian Witzman over him. I think he's outplaying Willie Wright. Kyle Kalis, did he play he was out last week, right? With the concussion. Maybe he's going to be back. So maybe he's got to, make a run at this thing. But to me, it looks like Drew Forbes is going to be your guy at the backup guard position.
Okay.
Kendall Lamb, they also had sliding into guard a couple practices ago.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting is you brought it up. Brad Seaton played his ass off, right? This last game.
I'm not
sure.
Well.
What? I'm sorry.
I thought he's earned a spot as a backup tackle. I don't know if he can play on the left side, so that doesn't help.
Well, we're not going to keep. Chances are we keep 8 or 9 at most, right? Chances are it's going to be not 8 guys.
8?
Could be 9 if they try to keep, I don't know what their plans are with Corbett, but I think there's a battle here for Brad Seaton and Kendall Lamb to see who is actually going to be the backup tackle, because Seaton's been pretty solid. Kendall Lamb struggling with, like, there's times where he just gets bullied.
Yeah.
He gets beat up. Not real strong at the, he needs to work on the strength. Same thing with Austin Corbett. I was going to mention Austin Corbett's biggest weakness to me is he needs to get low and needs to get in the weight room more. He's getting pushed around way too much. Mm-hmm. But that's a battle to watch. Brad Seaton's not out of this thing, but I think that's who that tackle, the swing tackle, is going to come down to either Seaton or Lamb here. Lamb probably has a leg up. He's got the bigger contract, but he hasn't won this thing yet.
Yeah. I mean, he's only got a $600,000 signing bonus. So the Browns can kind of walk away from that and feel okay if they're happy with Seaton and what he's done. Part of me thinks that if the Browns can do it, they're going to keep 9 guys, because I do think they want to keep Corbett. You definitely keeping Forbes.
Yeah.
I would probably keep Lamb and Seaton and hope that, because if Lamb can also play guard, then that would help. If you have 2 injuries and you need Seaton as a tackle, and then Lamb can swing wherever. And then Corbett's just like, well, we took him in the second round. We can't dump him yet. And I'm not sure that he's not okay. Like going forward, he might be okay. It's going to kind of depend on if they think he can play center and they can move on from Treader. That's dangerous to me. But
super dangerous.
You know how these front offices think. I mean, we took the guy 33. He needs to be on the roster.
I mean, if we're getting into Corbett, I think they're going to try to find a way to keep Corbett on the roster. Now, when going back and watching the game, I mean, he got a lot of hate, but I don't think he was nearly as bad as what everybody acted like. Like, he wasn't good. He had 4 bad snaps or whatever. Like, it was bad. 3rd down and 3, doesn't get the snap to the quarterback, and Freddie brings that up. I just don't see him making mistakes like Cam Ervin. Like, Cam Ervin was getting absolutely destroyed, making just one, penalty here, just getting absolutely blown up. And then he would have a great block. He was so inconsistent. Now, I think Corbett, he needs to get stronger. I don't see him like just absolutely getting annihilated. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see that where the guys aren't. I mean, the Washington Redskins right guard the other day, that our guys were just running right around. I mean, the guy wasn't even. It's almost like he didn't even know who he was blocking. I don't think Corbett's that bad. Now, he needs to work on his technique. He needs to get better. He needs to improve. But he's a 2nd-round pick. I doubt John Dorsey's going to concede that was a busted pick this early. And I think he's going to, like you said, I think he's going to find a way to get him on the roster. Now, if that means that you got to keep an extra lineman and go with 9, then I guess,
Yeah, that's sort of kind of just what I'm wondering, if they're going to try to find an extra roster spot just until they figure out the offensive line a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. I think they want to keep 8 if they can, but
yeah, so there's still a battle going on there, and from a number of these guys. But you keep your eye on Seaton. Hopefully, he has a good week, something to build upon, and he might be a surprise guy to keep that gets kept on this roster. When I don't think anybody would have thought that at the beginning of the process.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on the offense that you saw in the game or that you want to talk about?
No, not really. I mean, they just played really well. I think like we said, Freddie's putting these guys in good position. I really like the play calling, making it easy. I mean, the reason why Garrett Gilbert is probably playing so well, one, he got the reps in the AAF, which really helped because you get experience. And then he's putting in, we're doing a lot of the shotgun, a lot of the stuff that these guys would have did in college.
Yeah.
He's not having to go from under center 85% of the time or anything like that. They're putting him in shotgun, they're spreading out the field. Same thing for Baker, and it fits what he likes to do. I don't want to go back and talk about the quarterbacks, but Garrett Gilbert has more experience in that sort of thing than Drew Stanton does. But we'll move on.
Okay. Yeah, let's flip to the other side of the ball. We'll talk about the defensive line. Interior guys probably need to keep 4.
Yeah, it'll probably be 8 or 9. defensive linemen total. 8 to 9, I would think.
So let's do the whole thing as a group. Garrett, Ogunjobi, Richardson, Vernon is sort of the front four.
That's
Pencil
good.
them in. They ain't going nowhere. And they're awesome. So that's great. Our starters are great. Now, out of the remaining 11 dudes on the roster, who most do you need here? Who do you need to pencil in?
Need? None of them. I don't need any of them, but I would say Chris Smith is probably here. Now, could they save money by trading him if they want to keep Chad Thomas or what? I mean, they're going to keep Chad Thomas most likely. Chris Smith is probably in. I would think Trevon Coley is in also, and that would put us at 6. And I think this is where the battles start heating up.
Okay.
Actually, Chad Thomas is going to be in, so make that 7.
Okay.
I think you're talking about, are you going to keep Zettel? These are the ones that I think are the guys that are ahead right now. So if I got two more, I'm probably keeping Zettel and Lawrence.
Yeah. And then
Devereaux Lawrence, Anthony Zettel. But you also got Ekuale.
Yep.
Excuse me. And Carl Davis there. And Brian Price has been injured. So Brian Price actually got a lot of snaps last year. I don't know is he on any kind of like PUP list or anything?
We'd have to look him up.
All right.
I don't think the PUP list starts until.
Well, it doesn't start till week 1, but you designate a guy to it.
Right. But I don't think they can do that yet.
Yeah, they do it a long time ago.
Carl Davis just hasn't really done anything. I don't know. He's on the last year of his contract. Brian Price on the last year of his contract. Zettel on the last year of his contract. They'll all be unrestricted at the end of this year. Coley will be restricted. You have a little bit more control over him. They definitely do want to keep Thomas because he's a third-round pick. Wyatt Ray, Jarrell Owens are going to get tons of snaps probably this week and into week 4 just to take up snaps because I don't think we're going to see much of Garrett, Vernon, Richardson, Ogunjobi. Probably going to be limited snaps.
Carl Davis has 3 tackles. He's played 62 snaps, so he's done a few things.
Yeah. Anything with that group out of the game that you want to bring up?
Yeah, I think that one's pretty wide open, man. I mean, they got to decide what they're going to do with the backup interior people. You can probably take Jarrell Owens. He's probably, and he's not going to be on the team most likely. Wyatt Ray also most likely not going to be on the team. I think the battle's really Zettel, Carl Davis, Ekuale, Lawrence, Chad Thomas. I guess you could say is in that battle, but most likely not. He's probably guaranteed a spot here.
Yeah,
but that's some stuff to keep your eye on here in the upcoming game for sure.
All right, let's move to the linebackers. Kirksey, I should have thrown Avery in with the edge. So
yeah, well, you know what? You're right, and that's where that flexibility gives. Now, if you're considering Avery as an edge, maybe Zettel. If they cut anybody here, it's not going to be Chad Thomas. I guess at that point, it actually would come down to Chris Smith and Zettel because Chris Smith, you actually have a savings. You're going to save some money, where Zettel's super cheap. But I gotta think Zettel's the odd man out if it comes down to that. Chris Smith is the better player.
Yeah.
Now, is he worth a couple $1 million extra? That you can argue.
Right. To walk away, it's $2.3 million or whatever dead money. You're going to pay him 2.7 to play. Not the end of the world.
Just had a baby. You can't cut a guy after that, can you?
In the NFL, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. So Avery sort of. When you put him in with edge, I'm looking at the depth chart. That's why I left him out. When you put him in with edge, that tightens up that group a little bit more. So,
but that's why that versatility, and you get that with a number of players. Like there's a couple different guys on this defense. That's why their value goes up because we can do multiple things with you. Now, I don't think the Browns are ever going to play a Sam this year.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, they're going to be in a 2 linebacker set every single time. I mean, they've done it. It's all through the preseason. That's the way they're going to play this. So it's highly unlikely that they really use them unless they're, in certain situations. Maybe when they're playing the Baltimore Ravens and you're going up against more of a run attack, you might do that sort of thing. Because Avery actually pretty damn good this last game stopping the run. There's a couple of times where, he's not a big guy, but he's got leverage because he's short, man. He's short and stocky, and he's got leverage, and he holds up his end, the tackle, and was able to bring down the ball carrier twice in this last game. So, 2 run stops like that, that's not really what you're expecting out of him. So now if he can add that part of the game also to his pass rushing, which he's fantastic at, super quick off the edge and way more powerful than what anybody thinks he's going to be. It's a great style of player to have on this defense right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Moving on with the linebackers, Kirksey, Schobert, Mac Wilson, Sione Taki.
Pencil them in, right?
Pencil those guys in. Now find me. We're going to need probably 2 more and probably special teams. So Adarius Taylor, Ray Armstrong, Willie Harvey, I thought played okay in the game.
Willie Harvey is he had one of the higher grades, did he not? Yeah, he had a 90 in the run defense through the first 2 games. So the run defense, he's been very, very good. Coverage grade, 35.4. That's not getting it done. That's going to be tough to, he's only played 35 snaps, so that's a small sample size. But, you really got to be able to cover in today's NFL. But yeah, he's got the job done so far. He's done a nice job. Maybe a practice squad guy. I don't know if they're going to be able to fit him on this roster, because we're probably going to keep, 6. Ray Armstrong, I think, is going to be a lock for special teams, and Adarius Taylor most likely. Now, Taylor didn't love him as being the middle linebacker to Mac. Well, Mac Wilson was at the middle linebacker spot, wasn't he?
Yeah,
a little bit more. And so Adarius Taylor was the will. I didn't think he had a very good game, but adds that special teams value that they really need. I don't even know if there's much of a battle at this point for those spots. I would almost go Schobert, Kirksey, Wilson, Taki, Armstrong, and Taylor, and then that's it.
Right. And then the 3 undrafted free agents sort of either get practice squad or hopefully can make it somewhere.
Yeah. Now, Anthony Stubbs, I don't even remember being out there, but right now, through 2 games, he's the highest rated defender on Pro Football Focus with a 9. This must be messed up, because he's got a 90.5 overall grade, but he has no 90s in the rest of his grades. So I'm not sure. It must be a misprint.
Yeah.
But 86.8 with the pass rush.
Yeah, probably maybe a guy they'd like to stash away, hopefully keep him hidden.
Yeah.
Cornerback group. This one's pretty interesting.
This is where it starts getting, this secondary starts getting real interesting, I think.
Yeah. I think this is probably where the problem comes in, when you start to tighten down the screws of, like, can we keep a 3rd quarterback? Can we get a 9th offensive lineman? Can we get a 9th defensive lineman? Because you might have to keep an extra corner or a safety, because right now we've just got like so many dudes back there that probably deserve to make the 53.
At the secondary, I think that we have 4 really good corners, and then we have nothing after that. Is my feeling.
Ward, Mitchell, Greedy, TJ Carey, Philip Gaines has been okay out of the
playing
slot.
The slot, the nickel. He can give you that, and he's been okay in special teams. You
can use Eric Murray as a slot.
Yes, and that's you just brought it up. That's what I was going to say here with this group is that the corners and safeties we almost got to do together, because the real question is. The safeties, you're going to go Demarius Randall, Eric Murray, Morgan Burnett, Jermaine Whitehead, no matter what. Those are the 4. Now you got to decide if you're going to keep Sheldrick Redwine, which you draft him in the 4th round, so most likely you are.
Yep.
But that means you're going to get rid of one of these cornerbacks. You're not going to keep as many cornerbacks, because you're keeping 5 safeties at that point, and Eric Murray can play, the nickel corner.
Sure.
Demarius Randall in a pinch can play corner. You got a little bit of flexibility, and I think you dump one of the cornerbacks at this point if you're keeping Sheldrick Redwine. Now, Redwine, we talked about how bad of a game. After I rewatched it, it was even worse game.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. His angles to pursuit angles are out. I mean, they're terrible. Did you see the one play that I wrote down that I was just like, this is so terrible. This is one of the worst plays I've ever seen. 3rd and 11, Browns bring the blitz. Okay, Philip Wheeler was a quarterback at the time. And he throws the quick, like what would be your hot, to Krishan Hogan. And when you're bringing the blitz, Redwine, I know he's a rookie, but come on, man, this is like basic shit. You're bringing the blitz, you have to come up. It's 3rd down and 11. You got to play the sticks, man. And he's so slow at coming up, and Hogan just turns around and jukes him because he's so slow. A good safety is going to be he knows that's coming. He knows they're going to throw hot. He's going to be right on that guy, and he's going to be tackling him. It's you have to be able to see it coming, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to. He's been playing football long enough to know that that's exactly the way that play is going to work. Yet he's not reading it. He's not seeing it. If you can't see and read it, you're worthless. It doesn't matter if you run a 4.2 40. It doesn't matter. You have to have instincts. You have to know what's coming, and you have to be able to frickin' have a goddamn pursuit angle. He deserves, honestly, after 2 games now, there's still 2 games left, but after 2 games, he doesn't deserve to be on this team. And somebody else is most likely going to get cut. And it's going to be one of these guys, could be a Tavier Thomas who can really, is a really good gunner. But are you going to be able to spend a roster spot on Tavier Thomas, a gunner, because, you want to keep Sheldrick Redwine, who was your 4th round pick?
Yeah.
He was terrible. Or a Philip Gaines. You brought up Philip Gaines. Gaines has been good as the nickel corner. Like, I don't think you want him playing on the outside from what I've seen so far. And he's been on special teams, so he's adding that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's also a little older. He's 28. He'll be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. Sometimes that has to factor in.
Yeah. But right now, where we're at, where the Browns are with this team, you have got to be taking the best players. Yeah. You are in win now mode. This is not time to let's see what's going to happen in the future. This is time to take players in the draft that are ready to play day one, and to have players on your team that when the guy in front of them goes down, the next guy comes up and he's ready to play, and it doesn't drop off that much.
Yeah.
The replacement
so at
level.
some point you have to go, well, we picked him in the 4th round. We picked him in the 2nd round. He's not a fit, and we can't continue to keep him. Like, even if we picked him in the 4th round, okay, we missed, let's move on. And then you hold on to somebody else that you think has a better shot of coming in and doing the job better. Dude, it's so hard for front office guys to swallow that and go, we missed on Redwine, we got to let him go. I think the best teams probably
cut your ass
a little bit more often than we're used to. So we'll see.
We're going to be a good team, though.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be, it's a little premature, I guess, to be ready to throw this guy out with the garbage. But man, he's got to get if those are the same mistakes that are happening every single day at practice, at some point you have to go, okay, that's enough. Now we've seen 2 games. The games have been bad. Maybe he's doing everything right in practice. So guys can go out and have a bad day, and they just happen to be on that game day. And that's going to show up to all the fans. Yeah. But Freddie talks about it all the time. It's everything put together. It's not just one day. It's all of it combined. The consistency is what he wants to see. But I think it's important for Redwine to come out and have a good game, because otherwise he's going to be gone. Yeah.
I mean, so here's the other thing that NFL teams do. So if you got 8 or 9 of these secondary players, the 8th and the 9th guy probably weren't the best choices to keep, but they make either financial sense to keep or they're a draft pick. Now, if Denzel Ward goes down, we shouldn't even talk about like this kind of stuff, but like, let's say you have a major injury. Sometimes you might go out and get somebody, and Redwine still it's not like he's got to step up and take somebody's spot. Like a lot of teams will go out and pick up a veteran or something, or pick up another player, and Redwine doesn't have to like step up to play that position. Does that make sense? You kind of know where I'm getting to there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the difference between Robert Jackson and Donnie Lewis or Tavier Thomas might not be like that big of a deal. But at that point, you might be like, well, we see this dude's ceiling is much higher. Even though this guy might be the better player today, we don't expect him to play anyway, as long as everyone stays healthy. And if somebody important gets hurt, we're going to replace them with a good player.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Browns keep. I think they're going to keep Redwine no matter what.
I would say, yeah, it's like the odds are that they are going to keep him.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a case to be made. if it ended today and the cuts had to be made, based upon the 2 preseason games, there's a very good case to be made that he doesn't belong on the roster.
Yeah. I mean, he could hit the inactive list a few of these weeks. Or, I mean, actually, when you talk about these secondary players, they got to play special teams. So you don't really see a lot of inactive secondary players because they're the ones that are sort of taking those reps on the punt team, punt return, that kind of shit.
It says here Justin Burris is injured.
Yeah.
Okay, because he had a really good game. He had a pretty good game. Right now, actually, he's the 4th highest rated player on the defense. Now, he's only played 22 snaps, so again, small sample size, but Justin Burris, like, I don't know, are they going to be saying, well, you've outplayed this guy, but...
Well, he's another dude. He was taken in the 4th round by the Jets in 2016. He's 25. I mean, he's a young kid still. There's opportunity there to... I don't know what his injury is, but, sometimes you can kind of grab those dudes that were a little bit higher drafted, but the Jets had to move on from him at some point and just go, we missed. Not my guy. That was Tannenbaum's guy.
So somebody, most likely, like you just said, one of these guys is going to get cut in favor of Sheldrick Redwine. I mean, you get a guy like Robert Jackson, all right, who comes down and blows up that play, that kick return, makes a big special teams play, and then you're looking at him, he's like 6'2", 209 or something. Like, he's a big boy, right?
Yep.
You almost think that, like, maybe he should be playing safety. Yeah. Maybe when you look at his run grade from the couple of years, like, he's got a really good run defense grade, and you can see him come up and hit guys. I mean, he's a big boy, and then he suffers a little bit in the pass game. Maybe they're putting too much on his plate as going one-on-one with these super fast guys. Maybe he should be looking at moving positions, but that's a guy give you some that big bodied corner that would give you some special teams. And the one that, we like here, we've talked about Tavierre Thomas all last year. I mean, he was blowing up punt. He was the only goddamn guy that was getting down on punt returns and blowing them up all the time. He was fantastic last year in punt defense. I really would like to find a way to get Tavierre Thomas on this squad and get one of those guys who seem to get down the field and make the play all the time. So you're not getting, 20-yard returns on you every week.
Yeah. The secondary is going to be important to figure out. I think we're okay at the top end of it. And I think we have enough dudes that can move around and be versatile that you can probably get some stuff done.
Yeah. I think Javonte Dean and Donnie Lewis are basically out of the running at this point, unless they really turn things around. I haven't seen very much out of either one of them. When I look at, I want to ask you this, Terrence Mitchell versus Greedy. Right now, this is Terrence Mitchell winning this.
Yeah.
All the way, right?
Yeah.
The physicality. Greedy missed a tackle this last week where, the miss, Mac Wilson got into the bet, got stiff armed on that one play.
Mm-hmm.
Greedy should have cleaned it up, man. He's right there. And then Greedy just completely whiffs on the tackle. The one thing they talked about him struggling with in college. Got to get that done. I don't think we worry about Terrence Mitchell missing that tackle. I think it's a sure thing. And I'm fine. I know everybody we talked to on the, coming into the season was expecting Greedy to pretty handedly win this job, but he hasn't won it. He hasn't taken this thing away from Terrence Mitchell. Terrence Mitchell, by all accounts, deserves to keep this starting spot, to start off the season.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. JT Hassel, he played a bunch in that last game. I thought he played pretty good, but he didn't.
He was all over the field.
Out very good.
Yeah, well, when I went back and watched, you can see why. Like, he's not very good in coverage, man. He actually got abused a few times in coverage. Did he have a missed tackle or?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he had
out there a lot.
Or something else that didn't help out his grade. Yeah, he didn't grade out well. He got a lot of snaps in there, but yeah, he gave up a couple passes.
That was a dude I
right
thought might have had an outside chance, but they might have just been putting him out there either just to take reps at this point. With here's the thing with the safeties. It's really tough being that anybody behind Redwine at this point. Randall's going to be there. Burnett's and Murray and Whitehead are all there. So your only hope is to beat out Redwine, and you didn't get drafted. Right. Like you're showing up at camp going, man, I probably don't have a shot for this thing. Justin Burris is really the only guy that should have a shot at this thing, taking down Redwine. And if he's hurt, then
Well, I wish I knew what his injury was. I
doesn't
see
help,
he's
so.
injured on here, but I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I looked up Brian Price. Nobody seems to care about Brian Price because they don't even have any information on him at all.
So far down the list.
I Googled him and it said, who the hell's Brian Price?
Well, interesting stuff there with the secondary. Anything else on the defense? Defense as a whole over that game?
I think the coverage has a long way to go yet. Getting a lot of pressure up front, they're really getting after it. But after the first team goes out, the level of play really goes down.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say that as much for the offense. Like, obviously they're not going to be as good as the starters, but I feel like they're still doing things offensively. The defense really just doesn't seem great at all.
Yeah.
The second team, the backups,
Yeah, I agree with that. Special teams, Colquitt and Joseph might have this wrapped up. I see Jamie Gillen kicking field goals in practice of like 60 yards and knocking them down.
And now I see people saying, well, you might as well. Okay. Come on.
It would save your roster spot if he can punt and kick.
I don't think Greg Joseph's been that terrible, man.
No, Seibert's been terrible, though.
Yeah, but I mean, if Greg Joseph misses like one kick a day, let's say they kick 5 times and he misses one, and it's not every single day that's happening. So he goes 4 for 5 every other day. That's probably right on. Probably a pretty good percentage when you think about it. What do you think? It matters how far you're kicking, but 8 out of 10, probably pretty solid if you're kicking for 45, 50 yarders.
Yeah. That whole battle seems to be wrapped up already, but I'm sure they're going to let them both kick in, game 3 and probably game 4. But I don't know. I don't know how much of a battle's still left. Anything else?
Burris has a knee.
Oh, okay.
See, I don't. You can't even find anything on this crap, man. On these guys, but they said he should be back Thursday. So,
oh, okay.
Well, good for him. So he can come back and try to win a job.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
Let's wrap it up.
All right. You can hit us up on Twitter at STS Podcast, and our email is
Surviving the Season at gmail.com, patreon.com/STS Podcasts. If you want to financially support the show, we appreciate all of our Patreon support. Thank you guys so much. It's awesome. Thank you for listening, sharing the show with your friends. Get everyone on board. Tell them, listen to this shit. These guys are fucking the best. All right. Greg,
hold on one second. Yeah. Did you hear? Did you watch that Denver game by chance the other night against San Francisco?
I did not.
Okay, so everybody getting a little. Well, some people. I mean, most of the Brown fans seem to like that Baker kind of like speaks his mind and whatnot, but there's some of them, there's a few people that don't like the fact that we have this outgoing quarterback and it's like, let's just play football, okay? Because we're going to look really stupid if we lose and are worried about it. Like, we have a quarterback that just goes out, says whatever the hell he wants. And then I'm watching Joe Flacco, dude, doing this interview, the sideline interview. He could not be any more generic. Like, he is the white bread of, you know what I mean? Like, he's just plain. There's nothing to you, man. Like, there's no personality. And at the end of the interview, she's like, well, what do you expect this year? And he's just like, oh, all I know is I really love football. Oh, man, I enjoy it a lot. And it just sounded so fake. Like, Jesus Christ. This guy is a complete phony, man. Like, I'm so glad that we don't have this cookie cutter freaking quarterback, this Joe Flacco, just white bread quarterback. Is plain nothing.
Yeah.
We have somebody that comes out, speaks his mind, has fun, talks a little trash, and isn't just, your everyday freaking corporate sponsor quarterback.
I agree. It's time. It's time for Cleveland to get a little edge, right?
Yeah. We've needed it forever. And now we got it. And people get upset. So we probably should have put that in all the way back at where we were talking about Baker Mayfield, but it just came to my mind when you were talking about, how much you love or how much people love our podcast.
Yeah. We are not done. We have some more breaking news. Browns have claimed Montreal Meander, past safety here off of the Jets waiver and have placed DJ Montgomery on injured reserve.
Wow.
Montreal Meander comes in to play that sixth safety spot that has no chance to make the team, but can take reps for the last 2 weeks of the preseason.
And he knows his way around the building since he's been here.
Is out for the season. IR, they will probably come to a... He's on the IR for a hamstring injury. They'll come to a injury settlement with him, and then he will become a free agent most likely. But that clears up the receivers a little bit to you, or no?
Well, yeah. I mean, it makes I mean, Ratley's in right now, in my opinion. You're good. Ratley's good. It's the best thing that happened to him.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably see some Ratley this week. Get ready for some Ishai. Oh, nope, Ishaiman's out.
I guess that makes sense then why a little bit more of that Braxton Miller.
That does make sense, yeah. So Braxton Miller probably is going to get some playing time. Dorian Baker, and let's see what happens there. These guys are going to...
We bring in a safety, which we just talked about. If you're after number 5, it couldn't be any more useless to this team, and we brought in the 9th.
Yeah.
But this guy's been here. He knows his way around the building, stopping in to say what's up, get a workout in before he's cut in 2 weeks.
There it is. Breaking news is in. So,
how about it?
Yeah, that sucks for DJ Montgomery. I thought he had a shot.
Well, now I'm glad I had that terrible Joe Flacco story to prolong this thing.
We did. Yeah, we got some breaking news out of it. So that'll clear. Go ahead and erase everything that we said about the receivers, and then you caught it at the end of the podcast. So you get everybody. We really, really appreciate it. Greg, tell them what we say.
Keep on surviving.